Welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Vetri, working as Professor of Pharmacology at Jeffrey Chia School, Sunway Medical School. I am very honored to present here. The topic is very simple topic. Just I wanted to going to share how the epidermal growth factors is important markers to identify several cancers, including breast cancer. So why is it needed for this kind of biomarkers approach? So I am going to discuss on few slides. So only for sharing slides, nothing is new. Okay. You all know Malaysia is high prevalence in breast cancer. Is among other cancers, about 17% of cancers is related to breast cancer. Among the cancers, is a treatment also is highly expensive. Also, we are facing a lot of issues when we go for therapeutic approach. Particularly, the cancer types of the breast cancer. There are two types. The breast cancer, the major problem is most of the drugs does not binding to the specific receptor site. The problem is drug delivery. So with this I am going to discuss a lot further slides. Also in globally, they estimated according to American Heart Associations, is 35 million expected in 2050. So at present is 2022, is 20 million people are diagnosed with breast cancer. But this is the among cancers, not only for breast cancer, but death also going to increase, day to day due to lifestyle modifications. There are genetic factors. There are many other factors. Especially in Malaysia, is why we are always giving awareness and also insisting of breast cancer. Early diagnosis is one of the major gaps. Most of the cases is at early 4 only. It means stage 4 only they are going to get a diagnosis. So one of the drawback is why the stage 4 is a high numbers in Malaysia. According to the Malaysian cancer survey, they mentioned that most of the cases at stage 4. No one is going for early deductions or any measures. So these are the major problems why the treatment also is very difficult. So these are the major issues we are facing locally and globally. Then it's a triple negative breast cancer is a major is a type of breast cancer. So this is the major problems because absence of hormones, particularly the TNBC lacks of estrogens, progesterones, and human epidermal growth factors hormone, so that the drugs also does not bind the specific receptor sites. So the hormonal therapy may not possible, but other cancers possible. But the breast cancer, the hormonal therapy not applicable. It means it's not much. There is no therapeutic effects because there is no the hormones in the specifically is TNBC. TNBC accounts is about 20% of all breast cancers among the breast cancers. More common in younger women and aggressive in nature compared to other cancers within especially the breast cancer. The TNBC is a very aggressive. It's an invasion also very fast. Multiplication, proliferation is also very high. So this is the main reasons why the treatment failure. So there are other aspects. Now we are looking only the major markers, but we never looking for any other major markers, including EGFR. So EGFR play a crucial role for the breast cancer also. But when we identify how play a role of EGFR, maybe we can find many drugs. Also we can go for repurposing drugs. Because nowadays it's very difficult to go for new drug discoveries. So maybe we can go for repurposing drugs. Already existing drugs, we can go for this kind of treatments. Okay, EGFR is basically a transmembrane proteins. It's a kind of proteins. It's a tyrosine kinase receptor. Play a crucial role mainly for growth, the cell growth, survival, and proliferations and differentiations. Also, there are EGFR play many roles, including for non-small cell lung carcinoma, colorectal cancer, glioblastoma, also breast cancer. So there are many cancers involved epidermal growth factors, not only for breast cancer. But I am going to discuss only about is a breast cancer. Please move on. Okay, EGFR in TNBC is expressed or over activation in the about is a 60% of cases. So the aggressive is a very high. Linked with the aggressiveness, metastasis and poor survival rate, because most of them they are going for at the last stage. It's not early detections. However, targeted therapies also ineffective. Sometimes they used to call like immunological targeted therapy, like nano targeted treatment approach. Also, there are different approach for the cancer treatments, but still there are many gaps. Why the patient never get is a better treatment effects due to there are many factors. Also, the genetic linkages also play a crucial role. So that also need to identify what triggers or what factors or what biomarkers need to identify to target. So can we move on to the next one? So current EGFR targeted therapies like monoclonal antibodies like cetuximab is one of the pharmacological agents. Also tyrosine kinase receptors, few drugs are available. But when these drugs, colon cancer is a better option. Is a better treatment for colon cancer. But it's a breast cancer. When you go with the breast cancer, the treatment outcomes is not up to is a significant. It's also the clinically is the clinical outcomes and guidelines also they mentioned that there are little problems with the breast cancer, especially with the specific type of breast cancer. The monoclonal antibodies, especially this drug is a better choice for the colon cancer. Easy to bind to the specific receptor site, to the penetrations and drug delivery is very high. The sufficient amount of drugs reaching to the specific target sites. But when we go with the colon, the breast cancer, due to the other factors, especially the absence of or lack of some hormones, so very, very difficult to target to the specific site. Please move on. So now why is not they working with TNBC is specifically this cancer. So triple negative breast cancer is basically a genetically diverse. It's not we cannot go with the same treatment with all the patients. Sometimes the genetic variations now, so that they're focusing on genetic profiling. So genomic studies. So they need to identify which genes mainly involve the progression of cancer studies, the progression of cancer disease. Also the resistance. Most of the cancer drugs, oncogenic drugs like oncological drugs, is a chance to develop the resistance. What is it? Resistance? It means that the drugs it may not produce the response. It may not produce the response. Sometimes it may chance to develop the adverse events. So that we go for combination therapies. So combination therapy is a better choice for cancer patients to avoid the resistance, drug resistance. Also the lack of biomarkers like hard to predict who will respond, because there are many biomarkers, hundreds of biomarkers. We do not know whether it's a play of PA3 or AMPK. So there are NRF2, there are many inflammatory markers, also immunological markers. So we need to identify the specific markers, then only we can move on to the precision treatment or precision medicine. Precision medicine is basically we target to the specific specific cancer based on the profiling, gene profile. There are other testing options. Please move on to the next one. Current gaps in EGFR therapy is incomplete understanding of EGFR role in breast cancer, especially the poor data. Some data we have is guidelines with the previous treatments or maybe with the other types of cancer treatments we are following, but we never looking for specific treatment for the breast cancers. limited integrations with the new therapies like immunotherapies. So maybe it's very limited drug options. So with the existing drugs, we are going for treatment for the is a breast cancer. So now we move on to the pharmacological aspects. How the drug, it may not produce the response to the breast cancer. The main reason is the drug delivery. So what is a drug delivery? Drug delivery is basically how the drug is penetrating internal body systems, particularly the cell membranes, how reaching to the receptor sites. So within this, the traditional drugs is often do not reach to the tumor effectively because very tight junctions sometimes. The drugs not easily penetrate. So that nowadays there are many drug options like therapeutic options like nano drug delivery, small particle size, small drug substances, how penetrate, how reaching to the target sites. So EGFR targeting drugs have a short half-lives. So when the short half-life, sometimes it may not produce a longer response because the drugs also has to produce the sustained response. Then only the patient feeling of is a good experience. So then the poor penetration is a major drawback. So when we administer the conventional drugs, whatever we are available drugs, the penetration is one of the major problems. Drug delivery is not reached up to the target site, so that the bioavailability also it may not up to the level of reaching to the site of infections or site of the cancer. Please move on. Nanotechnologies, there are different types of target treatments like nano carriers can improve drug targeting of reduce the side effects. So why we always looking for the new therapeutic approaches? Because reduce the toxicity, reduce the side effects. But even though there are many other options like liposomal drug delivery systems, like nanoparticles, like nano formulations. Also exosomes is recent days. Many of the researchers they more focus on exosomes. Exosome is a different sources. There are many sources like plant derived exosomes, and within the human being itself they isolate a few types of exosomes. These exosomes mainly they are using for diagnosis purpose, to detect the cancer or to detect the different types of diseases. Also targets for the exosome is a certain treatments, but it's most of the trials is only for diagnosis purpose. So this kind of approaches now we are doing on the is a cancer, particularly the breast cancer. The modern therapeutic approaches is a combination is a better choice. Is always the combination therapies to try to avoid the resistance, and also the antibodies linked to cytotoxic drugs. So we need to specifically identify what markers or which biomarkers. So specific target site or specific target markers always the better choice. Personalized treatment or precision treatment is always better choice. So before going to the treatment, we need to identify what are the genes or what types of genes mainly involved to progress or develop the cancer. So based on that, we have to select the drugs. The drug selections also is very important. We cannot go with all patients the same drugs. Depends on the drugs and depends on the patient conditions also vary of selection of drugs. So there are many aspects, molecular profiling, many parameters need to be done before going for treatments. So importance of biomarkers. Biomarkers help to predict the response to EGFR targeted therapy, which is epidermal growth factors. So mutations also the EGFR also involved in the lung cancer is play a major role, not only for the breast cancer, also play in lung cancer. So the same mechanisms, but it's a targeted treatment. Sometimes the lung cancer it may vary from the breast cancers. Also need for more biomarker research then only we can go for a proper treatment and proper therapeutic, we can get the proper therapeutic outcomes. So there are many options. Drug sources are different, even plant source, animal source, synthetic sources. Most of the drugs are synthetic sources. But even though there are other sources like exosomes, isolation also nowadays, we are more focusing. But ultimate goal is we need to give a quality of life to the cancer patients, also try to treat the patient conditions. But millions of money spending many pharma companies like including Pfizer, Roche, no, many top companies, but still we are lagging, or still we are facing the problems. Still we don't have the concrete drugs at the final stage of cancer. But types of cancer is different. Types of treatment also may differ. But even though we don't have solid treatment for the severe cancer types, or particularly for the blood cancer or any other related cancers. Please. So tumor microenvironment and EGFR. EGFR is interact with the immune system. Basically, play a major role: cell growth, cell divisions, cell proliferations, and multiplications. Also, we need to identify the crosstalk with the PI3K pathways, MAPK pathways, and STAT pathways. Because these three pathways, it may chance to develop the drug resistance. So many of the researchers, the gap is we never looking for the major pathways. These are the pathways to develop the resistance, drug resistance. So when we identify these are the factors, maybe we can overcome the treatment gaps. So there are many aspects we are looking into the basic research. We are doing on animal modeling, cell culture work. So mainly we are looking for these kind of pathways. What are the responses of the new novel compounds or any phytocompounds? Blocking of multiple pathways may improve the conditions. We are not targeting for only specific pathways. Also, we are looking for different multiple pathways. When we target the multiple pathways, then only we can focus, or maybe it's highly effective against the inflammatory markers or any other cancer markers. Multi-omics for precision medicine. Integration of genomics, proteomics, and metabolomics. In recent days, they're more focused on this kind of research studies. Helps to understand the cancer better, understanding, and go for treatment approach. So when we integrate, gene protein correlations, how the link to genes, so different types of genes, how linked to the metabolites, including the metabolites we used to call like amino acids, maybe is a sugar content, also is a fat. So these all is a metabolites. So this one how linked to the gene expressions, how linked to the protein expressions. So nowadays most of them they're doing this kind of research. Even though recently they're doing this kind of research in Nanyang Technical University, Singapore. So they also got some outcomes, how to improve the patient quality of life with how we move on to the new drug discovery, with the basics of how integrate the one to one another, like genes, proteins, and metabolites. Immunotherapy with the EGFR targeted treatment approach can prime tumors for better immune attack. So when we go for combination of immunotherapy along with the EGFR targets, so better outcomes may we expect. Also the trials are testing combo is like PD-L1 antibodies. So when we target is a combination therapy, also we are mainly focused on is a PD-L1 antibodies. So these kind of approaches is always better to identify the new novel compounds. It means it's a novel drug discoveries. Challenges, of course, every drug development and drug discoveries have a challenges. Most of the companies after the 1975s, there is no newer drugs. The existing drugs, many of the drugs are maybe structurally they altered, maybe generation wise maybe improved, but it's, many of the drugs is not coming to the market for new novel drugs. But the problem is, main drawback is research is one of the major gaps. Sometimes the funding is a major problem. It's a need to spend a lot of money on research, especially the cancer research. The late diagnosis, the main is challenges for the screening of breast cancer. Limited access to molecular testing, particularly the EGFR mutation panels. Even Malaysia also, as I mentioned, is most of the cases stage 4 only they go for diagnosis. So according to the Malaysian Cancer Registry 2019, about is a 40% above at the late stage only they going for is a diagnosis. This is one of the major drawback why still the treatment cost and the treatment is a major challenges. Also, the cost of target drugs is a major barrier. So, cannot afford to everyone. Maybe it's very expensive. The cancer drugs maybe is very expensive. So that the public and private sectors, they encourage or motivate to give the vaccines to prevent the cancers. Please move on to the next one. Clinical trials, there are many companies, the initiating of different clinical trials is a phase 1 to phase 3. Malaysia also can benefit when they joining with other global trials. So may they get the enriching of their outcomes or enriching of their outputs. Please move on to the next one. Cost effective diagnosis solutions. So what are the solutions? What do we need? So what need for the society? So we need to identify the low cost EGFR mutation testing kits is a ready-made kits like sugar, how the diabetic patients keeping of the instant device also maybe we can develop in the future. Is very easier to monitor or to identify the basic screenings. Also point of care devices can help rural clinics. Even many of them, they do not know, they are not aware of the vaccines, they are not aware of cancer developments. Please go on to the next. Future directions integrate is EGFR therapy with immunotherapy, also nano formulations. Invest in biomarkers research and affordable diagnosis is should be whatever do research is finally reaching to the public benefits, and train oncologists in precision medicine approaches. So these are the future directions. Conclusion is EGFR is a promising but underutilized target in TNBC. Many of they are going with other biomarkers, but most of them they never majorly they never go with TNBC. Major challenges including drug resistance, drug delivery and diagnosis is a major drawback. Also, collaborate research and innovation are a key and future success. It means maybe we can overcome, we reduce the number of risks due to the collaborate with the appropriate agencies or research centers to develop the new drugs. With this, thanks everyone for listening my short talk.
So thanks, Prof. Vetri, for the insightful sharing. So just for your information, the Q&A will be after the three speakers, right? So thanks for those who just joined the session. I would say that being informed, I need to do some publicity for Sunway. Yeah. So okay, I think if let's say you're aware that the recent QS ranking just released a few days back. So Sunway University actually make up the best performing university worldwide. So I think the lead is like 129 spots the jump. So it's recognized by the QS ranking as the best performing university. And again, welcome to Sunway University. Okay, we will move our sharing from a little bit more towards the research development and the gap. Now we are moving towards the business point of view. So the next speaker, we do have our honor speaker, Dr. Anas Noval, so Chief Business Officer of Axios International. So he has been serving there since 2011, so has significantly expanded business presence globally through his leadership and expertise. So he's a well-rounded healthcare professional with experience in clinical practice, program design, implementations, and compliance. So Dr. Anas is passionate about providing access to quality healthcare services, reducing healthcare inequalities, and addressing the patient needs through innovative and sustainable solutions. Yeah, so not just about our research and our findings, everything. I think when we push into the market, the products for the treatment, we need to take care of the patients as well, the real needs of the patient. So Dr. Anas oversees strategic planning, business development, project implementation, and relationship for all Axios healthcare access programs with stakeholders, including charity organizations, the pharmaceutical and insurance industries, healthcare providers, regulators, medical associations, and more. So it's really experienced in connecting all of them. So he has successfully established unique and sustainable strategies to assess patient support programs and foster public-private partnerships. And I think this is an area people might be interested with, so the public and private partnership. And Dr. Anas holds a PhD in public health and master degree in business admin. So it's not just about the fundamental understanding of public health and also the business admin and Bachelor of Science. So with this, we would like to invite Dr. Anas for the sharing. So the title of sharing is Patient Access and Support Programs. Yeah, thank you.
So when our moderator was talking, I feel it's not me, you know. But go back one slide just to see which photo is better.
No need to ask. The real person is the best.
Good. So related to promoting Sunway University, one of my colleague who come with me from Dubai, she were planning now to put her kids here. So that means you already promoted by hosting this. So keep hosting NCCM events. So actually, I don't have disclaimer or disclosure, but I work with everyone, you know. And this is the spirit we have. And when we go to business. Yeah, we are doing business, but I believe it is also the best business ever I have done. Continuation for the professor's slides. He said, okay, we have innovation, we have treatment, but cost always will be an issue. And actually, all my slides is talking about that. So, Assalamu alaikum, I am Anas Noval, and I will be faster than the scientist because I am a businessman. I need to make good deal. So it is where? This bottom. This is it. So, okay, you help me. Okay, so about Axios, Axios International, it's a healthcare consulting company. We have been since 1997, so we are 28 years plus. And our main services, it is to serve patients. We call it patient access, and I will give you the definition later what we mean by patient access. We operate all over the globe, and with my team, we serve the patient in most of the what we call the emerging markets, so Latam, Africa, Middle East, and also Asia. Can you? I will not promote Axis a lot. We have been a global company for, as I said, last 28 years. You cannot survive in this world if you don't have high quality standard and really you keep innovating. If you don't innovate, you will not survive. Good. So this is my sixth slide, but my team has changed how it look and the look and feel. So I used to have it old-fashioned guy, 6 boxes, so they make it much better. This slide, by the way, it is coming from a study. So even in business, you do research, Professor, not only in medicine and bioavailability. So, and what was the study? The study is to ask patient. And I said to myself yesterday, I will stop saying patient, so I will say champion. Correct, Saadiya or Saida? So there is a journey which is about 6-station journey, and start by the disease awareness, and then disease diagnosis, then the prescription, and in the prescription maybe you don't feel it, but champion feel it. The one who get the treatment, it is the affordability of this medication. Then to start the treatment, then to comply with the treatment, because there's many challenge champion could face to comply with the treatment and to continue the treatment, where we call it the adherence as well. So this journey, and if you see, I believe they put here like hospital setting. Most of the stations, I call it station, it is outside the hospital. And this is very important to take in consideration, that most of the work, it is outside the hospital. It is not within the hospital context. And this is very important to take in consideration when you design any service to our champion. So I am, again, old-fashioned, you know. So Malak, who is our global head for excellence and engagement, she said we need to change access definition. So before you look to that, can you go one slide before? Maybe we give some gifts for people who doesn't. So we work on access, and you could see that always, even a professor, he talk about bioavailability, he talk about EGFR mutations, hormonal therapy, and by the way, EGFR, it is crazy as prevalence in Asia compared to our regions and other regions, you know, in the world. So definitely there's something should be done related to that. But everyone will talk about the access. So what's access from your point of view? I will circulate. I used to be academician, by the way. I don't know why I don't put it in.